Hello YouTube and welcome to Kapow Toys Presents. I am your host King Grimlock, and tonight, as you can quite plainly see, I get to work on my namesake. That's right, I am reviewing Masterpiece Grimlock, MP08 to be exact, the first Masterpiece release. Why is he wearing his spiffing apron and bow tie? Because I only got to do this review under the proviso that he was wearing it. So a big thank you to Red Leader for allowing me this privilege. It's a masterpiece figure. I'm going to sit here and gush for 10 minutes. I'm going to point out its highlights. I'm going to try and find some negatives, and then I'm going to tell you to buy it. It's just sensational. This toy puts a smile on my face. That is one thing for certain. It just absolutely just fulfills everything you'd want it to. Where else can you get a giant metal dinosaur and dress it up in a waiter's outfit? Anyway, let's do what we're here for, and that is to review him, to show you how wonderful he is. And the first thing that strikes you is just the enormous size of the guy. He is a good size. I know a lot of images showed him as being quite tiny, and he is shorter than Masterpiece Prime, but he is probably infinitely more detailed. There's a lot more sculpting on him. For example, be very careful. The sculpting all the way down the tail is one of these instances where I'm actually not bothered by them having not picked out all the details, because it's such a faithful representation of the original toy that it just looks amazing from all angles. The detail on it is beautiful, and no matter where you look at it, it just shines. Every part of it shines, it sparkles. You've got some lovely chrome work, you've got beautiful gold, and it's just filled with gimmicks. I mean, one of the things that a lot of people have said straight off the bat is it a necessary masterpiece? Realistically, no, because the first Grimlock, the original Grimlock, the Generation 1 Grimlock, was so utterly fantastic that he was accurate. He was accurate enough that you didn't need anything else. And that's why he's very rarely had many updates, and those updates he's had haven't been hugely successful until you get to this guy. And what they've done well is they've kept him similar. They've just highlighted the better parts of him, and they've changed those parts that they couldn't have possibly done 30 years ago when the toy was first created. Gimmicks, let's get them out of the way. Gimmicks, all Masterpiece toys now seem to have gimmicks. Grimlocks are twist his tail and his head twists. Utterly unnecessary, but again, they've kept it very similar to the first one, so I think they felt like they've had to add these things to it. You can also make him nod to a degree, even though this isn't a gimmick that seems to want to work too well, or at all. Not really a necessary one. The better ones are, see the flamethrower in there for a start. Beautiful, beautiful sculpted detail. But press the button on the side of his mouth and snappity snappity. A little thing, but it's not affecting anything, it's not making anything any worse, so it's quite nice. But one of the major things, and one of the things that have been highlighted by quite a lot of people, is the fact that you can change his eye colour from blue to red. Now, for most of you that might not actually be that important, but it's the difference between a comic book accurate Grimlock and a movie accurate Grimlock, or a cartoon accurate Grimlock. And I really, really like the blue eyes in this mode. I think they really work. Otherwise he just looks too terrifying. He doesn't look like an Autobot. There is very few things. Sorry, Andy, Red Leader, I've got to take this off. It's doing my head in. It's not showing off the toy to its best. Let's get rid of that, shall we? And then I can show you a few more of the details. On the chest, we have this tray of drinks, which need to go. We have a gigantic Autobot symbol. Now, this wasn't on the original toy. This here was a sticker that covered that area of robotic parts. And I don't know why they haven't reused it almost, or why they haven't sculpted it in, because they've put in so much effort to sculpt all of these panels around the sides and fill in the details, and especially around the back. I mean, the detail is immense. All these pipes and wires and on the boosters, just amazing. And then in the neck area, I could highlight details for months. Downside, one minor downside. His stance is just a little bit too wide. Shall we have a look at the robot? And Grimlock in his robot mode, and the first thing that you get is Generation 1, Generation 1, Generation 1. He is so accurate to his Generation 1 model, and to a very high degree his Generation 1 toy. It's scary. I mean, he looks so similar to the G1 toy, and also, it's what I've always thought of, masterpiece of, what I imagined Generation 1 toys were like when I was a kid. When I was 7, 8, 9 years old playing with them, and I picked them up and went, oh, and your imagination runs wild. This is what it ran to. This is what Grimlock always brought out in me. And as we have a little rotation round, same detail, of course, because it is just the dino tail and legs. And then on the back, we have a change to the design of him. There's one of the few. The head actually fits into a panel on the side and just tucks away quite nicely. So it's not hanging, it's not loose like the original one was. And the tail also, instead of being tucked against the side, tucks into the back of the leg. This is an area I do have a problem with. There isn't enough of a clip to hold it into place convincingly enough that you can not worry about it. And also, the downside is, this is chrome. That's plastic. Chrome scratches. It's going to scratch. It is going to get damaged, which is a real shame. Real shame. So, overall, I mean, I could highlight the detail in the chest, but much of the detail is very much like the Dino mode. The head has its gimmick, of course. One of the things you will notice is a brilliant, accurate sculpt, but it does almost have the aesthetic of the War Within Grimlock with teeth from Dreamwave. It's a real shame you haven't got the second head. If you look on the back, just there's a little switch, and he goes blue eye. So in both modes you can alter his eyes if you want comic or movie or cartoon continuity Grimlock. Now the big downside, and it is a real shame, is the weaponry and what it has to do. Now, first off, the big thing is the gimmick. Now, you plug in either the sword or the gun, and as we know, Grimlock's famous for his Energon sword. You flip out the lights, and it goes zoom. Awesome, great little gimmick. Great idea, and the gun does the same. Maybe not as well as the Energon sword, because it's not as much plastic, but it's great, it's a great idea. Unfortunately, because of that, this hand has zero articulation except for the thumb. It twists at the wrist and it's got the thumb, and it's a real shame because the masterpieces have always had that, the articulated fingers and things like that, And it is a real pity that the hand doesn't have articulation, at least at the level this one has, which is just the top finger and the thumb as well. But he's perfect. If you want a Grimlock, you get this guy. I mean, it's worth saving the money. Especially how much nowadays does a how much nowadays does a G1 Grimlock set you back, complete mint in box? Anybody? Any takers? Nope. Well, it's not cheap. It's not cheap, and you consider you can get this guy now, a masterpiece version of him who's better articulated, better designed, bigger, and it's about the same price. So overall, what have we got? Well, we've got the best Grimlock that's ever been released. If you fancy one, in the bottom bar as ever, the link to the Kapow Toys website where we have them available. Just simply sensational, and I cannot recommend one high enough. And as ever, guys, thank you for watching.